Well, guys, first of all, let me say what an honor it is to unveil this beautiful pink mic flag that I hear we're going to be hearing a lot of in 2015.
That's our new investment for 2015 for our media kit, yes.
Stepping up the game. Let me also say that this sounded like a way better idea when we were standing inside looking through the window. Like, let's go shoot in the snow. This is rough. I know you're from Canada. Is this a big deal? Because this seems kind of crazy to me.
It's home for me right now. This is exactly where I belong.
All right, let's talk about it. We're here in Stockholm. Big fight card this weekend. I want to get the European perspective. Sure. It was Conor mania in the United States last week. Everything was about Conor. Now we're coming to Stockholm. This could be the second biggest crowd of all time in the UFC history. We don't know for sure. We haven't heard about tickets, but I've heard they're doing well. Yep. But I'm not getting the feel that it's such a huge event, at least from the American perspective, but maybe it's just Conor hangover. So tell me, give me the European perspective. Is this a big fight card?
Well, I think for the Conor perspective, everything surrounding one solid superstar in the UFC, the next big thing and all that business, right? But in terms for European fans attending an event, this is a huge deal. For the first point is, this is a 30,000 seat arena. It's the experience factor. That's why everyone's so, banging on about Croke Park. It's not just about Conor, it's about being in an arena that's gonna hold 60, 70, 80,000 people, because it's an experience. It's something different from maybe a 10,000 seat arena. So you've got the experience factor, number one. Number two, this is the best card we've had in Europe potentially ever, probably ever, So we've got some marquee fighters, like some legends like Dan Henderson on the card. Phil Davis as Ryan Bader's a great fight. And I think the card in combination with the experience factor is why for European fans especially, this is a massive event.
Yeah, I agree. I'm actually looking really forward to it. Just the atmosphere. Dublin was such a special card last year, even though it was 9,000 people. This is potentially 30. I'm guessing more like 25, but I think it's going to be a great experience. So let's talk about it. Main event, Alexander Gustafsson, Anthony Johnson. What I want to know from you is, before we get predictions, Mike, what's the tougher matchup for Jon Jones? Because we know the winner is going to face Jon Jones for the UFC light heavyweight title. Who would you rather see? What's the better fight?
That's interesting. I mean, Gustafsson has clearly proven at this point that he can give Jones a fight. So we've seen that fight already. We know he can give him a tough outing, and it's more unknowns with Johnson. I think Gustafsson's the more well-rounded fighter, so he has a better skill set to present with Jones. But who knows? This is really Anthony Johnson's big opportunity. If he comes out here and puts Alexander Gustafsson away, that clearly shows he can beat these elite of the elite guys. So I think that would tell us a lot more about his chances. But I'd say right now, before seeing the fight on Saturday, it's Alexander Gustafsson.
Interesting. Sendu, I'd like to get the same question from you. Obviously, as Mike said, we've seen the fight with Gustafsson before. It was a fantastic fight. Yep. Who knows if the rematch would be the same. Then you've got Anthony Johnson with that insane power, intimidating anybody. So which fight would you rather see?
Me personally, I'd rather see Gustafsson. I just love the first fight. It's arguably the greatest light heavyweight contest ever in the UFC, and who doesn't want to see that one again? But like Mike, I'm going to echo what Mike just said. This could potentially be Anthony Johnson's coming out party. If he puts on a whooping on Gustafsson, knocks him out in his hometown in front of 25 to 30,000 fans, that would be a massive statement, and that propels him to that superstar level as well. And then who wouldn't want to see Johnson versus Jones? But for me, it's all about Gustafsson Jones, the rematch. Hopefully that happens.
Interesting. I think both fights could be a lot of fun. I don't know which way I'm leaning, because, as you said, Sendu, like, both have a lot of really great things about them. So let's put the rubber to the road. Let's put the money down. You've got to make your pick. I know you're in last place in staff picks. I know the 2014 champion. You're last place. I just want to let you know right now. So you got to come out, put it down right now. Who is winning this fight?
I'm going with Alexander Gustafsson. I think he's, as I said earlier, he's the more complete fighter. I think the speed is going to be a big difference maker for him here, a really important factor of the fight. And it's going to be interesting, though. I mean, Anthony Johnson, this kind of reminds me in a way of the Dan Hardy fight. He was like, he's fighting a guy who's another striker. Everyone's expecting the stand-up war that's going to be awesome. And he went out there with a wrestling-heavy game plan and took it down. And for this fight, if you want that title shot, you need this win. So maybe he tries to go a bit of a safer strategy, but I think if it is a stand-up fight the way we're all anticipating it to be, I think Gustafsson has that because he's just the more complete striker, has a more diverse skill set.
Tough to argue with that. It's a great case. Now, you said, Sendu, what a fantastic matchup it would be if Anthony Johnson could win. If he could come in and knock it out, can he do it?
I'm not sure. I don't think he will be able to do it for a few reasons. Number one, I'm still not sure how much of the personal problems he went through last year is still playing on his mind. When I was here back in, I think in November for the media day, the big press conference to launch this particular event, I was speaking to the media guys here in Sweden, and we were all on the same page. Johnson didn't look in the greatest shape. After just hitting the pads, for a few minutes, he was already going to gasping for air. So I'm wondering what kind of shape he's going to be able to come into in this fight, and how well the camp's gone for him. But even if he came in the best shape of his life, I think Gustafsson's footwork is just fantastic. You know, his boxing skills is amazing, and the way he moves around the octagon is just unmatched in the light heavyweight division for me. And I think that's going to be way more than enough to get the job done against Johnson.
I agree. I think it's going to be a fun fight. I mean, listen, Anthony Johnson is dangerous from minute 1 to minute 25, and I think that's what makes this an entertaining fight. But Alex just has so many tools at his disposal. I think he's going to win the fight. And then I think maybe we'll see this fight back in Las Vegas in International Fight Week. So thankfully, that'll be July. It won't be snowing like this, I can assure you. Now, again, the dumbest idea I ever had to come out here and shoot in the snow. We're going back inside now. My poor cameraman back there is shaking to his bone. Stay tuned to MMA Junkie all week long. Stay warm inside. We'll be the dummies outside getting you full coverage from here in Stockholm.